Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Scrap Empire. My name is Zach Hayes, and we're going to be talking about a women's flyweight bout for the UFC 266 UFC Fight Night event on this upcoming September 25th. Now, we're going to be featuring Valentina Shevchenko going up against Lauren Murphy. Now, I love watching women fight. One of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now would have to. One of my favorite fighters in the UFC right now is probably Rose Namajunas. Number one, I think that she's very, very beautiful, and number two, she's very, very beautiful. I had to put a little bit of laughs in, I don't want to be too intense. We all have to smile sometimes. Now, Valentina Shevchenko. Now, we all know about the. Um, we're all familiar with Holly Holm. We're all familiar with her knocking out Ronda Rousey. So I think casual people know who Holly Holm is only because she knocked out Ronda Rousey. We all know that Ronda Rousey was one of the biggest names in just fighting just not so long ago. Now, Valentina Shevchenko versus Holly Holm. You look at Valentina Shevchenko's style, right? Now, for a woman, again, she's very, very, she has broad shoulders for a woman. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, she just has broad shoulders, and I think that's what creates, it allows her to generate a lot of power from her strikes, right? You know, look at the way how she threw her strikes against against Holly Holm. Holly Holm's a boxer, right? She was 18-time world champion as a boxer at one point. But Valentina Shevchenko, see, she fights like how I used to fight when I was boxing. All right, she's from a perception standpoint, she looks stiff, but it's effective, right? Because when you see Holly Holm coming in, right? Valentina Shevchenko, she knows how to use the jab. She knows how to create shots just from using one punch. And then from that one punch, it allows her to throw the 1-2. Right, and I just love this. What Valentina Shevchenko did against Holly Holm, she literally showed exactly what I've been talking about. Just learning how to learn how to keep the fight, controlling the tempo, and keeping the fight how you want to keep the fight. And when you also look at Valentina Shevchenko's style, right? Like her punches. Very just a strong puncher, and I appreciate that. So I appreciate that. Valentina Shevchenko is comfortable with her own style and isn't afraid to embrace it. Because some people might consider it, she moves slow. Some people might consider her style to be just boring to watch. But when you're passionate about fighting, when you're passionate about boxing, when you're passionate about mixed martial arts, like I am, you don't mind watching this stuff for 10 to 12 hours a day because you're observing every little single detail. So I don't mind watching Shevchenko putting up a masterclass fight. And what I also liked about Shevchenko, she has broad shoulders, but she also knows how to keep up with the rhythm. Because a fighter like Holly Holm, All right. She has a lot of stamina. A lot of strikers in the UFC, especially those who come from a boxing background, whether it's them coming from a boxing background, having boxing foundation, or at one point being an amateur or professional boxer, those strikers, they have a lot of stamina, right? Because boxing is a striking based sport and you're always on your toes. So I like how Valentina Shevchenko was able to keep up with the rhythm, right? Very impressed by that. You have to be able to keep up with the rhythm of all of the fighters that you're fighting against, all right? So Valentina Shevchenko, you did a great job against Holly Holm. Very impressed. Now, let's get started with Kelly Fashos going up against Lauren Murphy. Valentina Shevchenko's opponent for Saturday, September 25th. Okay. Lauren Murphy. Now, just from me watching the fight with her and Kelly Fashos, she doesn't move very slow. She moves slow. Nothing wrong with it, though. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just her style. May you embrace the best you. That's all I can say. Not there's anything wrong with it. Like, that's just how she moves. Can't do anything about it, you know. But Lauren Murphy has a lot of endurance. She has a lot of endurance. She has a lot of heart. She has a lot of stamina. Kelly Fashos landed a lot of strikes against Lauren Murphy throughout all the rounds up until round 3. Right? Landed multiple strikes. So she outlanded Lauren Murphy. Throughout the first and second round. Excuse me, guys, for having my phone ringing. Right? But Kelly Fashos outlanded Lauren Murphy throughout all of the rounds. But this is exactly why I say, and I emphasize on utilizing the best you and listening to your trainers, but also not getting mentally defeated when your game plan isn't immediately going into action, right? Because from a perception standpoint, it looked like Lauren Murphy wasn't going to win the fight if it went to the judges' scorecards. But that's when you have to focus on the little details that your trainer or whatever practices or regimens that you were following during training camp you have to make sure you bring that into fight night, right? There's a fighter, I'm not going to say any names because I have to respect the sense of confidentiality I have to be aware of when I'm mentioning certain events that happen, that has happened. And I would want any fighter to see the video and allow them to get the perception that I'm revealing their business. So, there's a fighter that I know. Don't know him personally, just heard stuff about him. He used to get beat up in sparring all the time prior to his fights. But when the fight night came, he knocked people out. He was doing amazing. He did an amazing job. So, depending on how you train or practice, during training camp, sometimes you're not able to portray the work ethic and the style that you had in training camp to the fight. But I think that's what Lauren Murphy did, right? Because, Kelly Fashos, we already know that she has a history of landing great strikes. She has a box. She fights like a boxer. She knows how to hit, especially when it comes to throwing punches. Okay, you don't have to be intimidated by that. Just stick to your game plan, right? And that's exactly what she did. As soon as round 3 came, she charged right out She charged right at Kelly Fajos and started controlling the tempo, right? And now she's on top of Kelly Fajos, pound her out, 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 pound her out. And we were almost done, almost finished with the third round. Up until, and it was only 15 seconds prior to the round 3 ending. If round 3 would have ended, and that would have been the entire fight. It was a 3-round exhibition. It wasn't a championship bout, nor was it a 5-round exhibition. It was only a 3-round exhibition, and only 15 seconds left prior to the match being stopped, right? But Lauren Murphy was getting out-tracked throughout all of the rounds, but up until round 3, she figured it out, and then 15 seconds to round 3 ending, prior to round 3 ending, that's when the referee stopped the fight because Kelly Fajos kept on getting hit on the ground and she wasn't able to hit back. So, Lauren Murphy, I'm very, 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 very fascinated with your style as well. I like how you were able to stick to your game plan and not let Kelly Fajos' striking mentally beat you, and you were able to come back and bounce back. That's the heart of a champion. That's the heart of a fighter. That's the heart of a warrior. Much respect to you, Lauren Murphy. Proud of you. Now, I gave you an analysis of Lauren Murphy. I also gave you an analysis of Valentina Shevchenko. Lauren Murphy, I see you putting up a great performance, but I don't think it's going to be to the... I don't think it's going to be good enough to beat Valentina Shevchenko. Here's why. Valentina Shevchenko, experience, very smart fighter, can punch and strong. Lauren Murphy, you're strong. You're a smart fighter. But I don't see you having the experience only because you haven't fought anyone like Holly Holm yet. Valentina Shevchenko has fought plenty of great fighters in her division. So I would need you to be put in a certain situation where you're going up against top tier opponents, top tier level opponents, and see how you would be able to you would be able to perform when the waters are being tested against you. So I'm not saying you can't win. I don't see you having a style that you can utilize against Valentina Shevchenko. I just see Valentina Shevchenko winning the fight. Now, she can win by knockout or she can win by decision, but I just see Valentina Shevchenko being a more complete fighter. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Scrap Empire. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching my YouTube channel. Please leave any constructive criticism or feedback that you think will allow me to help elevate my channel as well. Thank you all for watching my content. It's an honor speaking to you guys. Bye bye everyone. Take care.